She didn't lose interest overnight. She lost interest the moment you started accepting what you should have refused. Listen to me carefully. Attraction doesn't die because you're not tall enough, rich enough, or smooth enough. It dies because you tolerate what weakens your presence. And the uncomfortable truth is this: most men are not rejected. They are slowly downgraded, from exciting possibility to emotional convenience, from desire to background noise. A smart man understands something most never learn. Attraction grows in the space where standards live. The moment you abandon your standards to keep someone, you quietly tell her you don't value yourself. And when your value drops in your own eyes, it drops in hers too. This isn't about playing games. It's about psychological gravity. People are drawn to what feels solid, consistent, grounded. When you refuse certain behaviors, certain dynamics, certain emotional traps, you communicate stability without ever saying a word. Women, just like men, are wired to feel safe with strength. Not loud strength, not aggressive dominance, but calm, self-respecting certainty. The kind of certainty that says, I know who I am, and I will not trade that for attention. Too many men think attraction is built through constant availability, instant replies, endless reassurance, bending over backwards. They believe if they give more, prove more, sacrifice more, she'll value them more. But human psychology doesn't reward overextension. It rewards mystery, emotional control, and self-respect. When you refuse what drains you, you create polarity, you create tension, you create respect. Think about the last time you were deeply drawn to someone. It wasn't because they chased you relentlessly. It was because they had a life, a direction, a boundary you could feel. Here's the truth no one tells you. Women test for emotional strength unconsciously, not to manipulate you, but to measure security. They want to know, can this man hold his frame when emotions rise? Can he disagree without crumbling? Can he stay centered when she pulls back? The average man panics when he senses distance. He over-pursues. He explains too much. He apologizes for things that don't require apology. And in doing so, he answers the unspoken test incorrectly. Smart men don't react. They observe, they decide, and sometimes they refuse. Refusal is powerful. It says, I am here by choice, not desperation. It says, I want you, but I do not need you to survive. That difference changes everything. This isn't about becoming cold. It's about becoming selective. When you stop accepting dynamics that erode your confidence, your presence sharpens, your voice slows, your energy steadies. And ironically, that calm refusal becomes magnetic. Because attraction is not built on approval, it is built on respect. And respect begins the moment you decide that your time, your attention, and your emotional stability are not up for discount. If you want to understand why some men walk into a room and instantly command interest without saying much, it's not magic, it's discipline. It's what they refuse behind closed doors. And the first thing they refuse changes everything. The first thing smart men refuse is inconsistent effort. Not mood swings, not busy schedules. Everyone has those. I'm talking about patterns: hot today, distant tomorrow, intense one week, unavailable the next, affection when it's convenient, silence when it's not. Average men tolerate this because they're afraid to lose the connection. They tell themselves she's just confused, just stressed, just figuring things out. And while they're busy rationalizing, their confidence quietly erodes. A smart man watches patterns, not words. Anyone can say, I really like you. Anyone can send a heart emoji. Anyone can promise future plans. But consistency is the real currency of attraction. And when effort fluctuates without explanation, that's information. Here's the psychological truth. When you accept inconsistent effort, you train someone to believe your attention requires no investment. You become emotionally available at clearance price. Women, like men, value what feels earned. When your time is always accessible, when your schedule bends instantly, when your standards disappear at the first sign of distance, you unintentionally lower your perceived value. This doesn't mean you punish someone for being busy. It means you notice when someone only shows up when it suits them. A smart man doesn't argue about it. He doesn't deliver speeches. He simply adjusts. If her energy drops, his investment matches it, calmly, not passive-aggressively, not dramatically, just proportionally, because he understands reciprocity is the backbone of attraction. There's something powerful about a man who can step back without anger, who doesn't beg for reassurance, who doesn't demand constant validation. That composure sends a message deeper than words. I participate in mutual effort, not one-sided pursuit. And here's what most men misunderstand. When you refuse inconsistency, you're not being difficult. You're protecting emotional balance. Emotional imbalance is exhausting. One person always reaching, one person always wondering, one person always initiating. Over time, that dynamic creates anxiety, and anxiety destroys attraction. Smart men protect their peace. They refuse to carry the emotional weight of two people. If she's genuinely interested, she'll feel the shift. She'll notice your calm withdrawal from overinvestment. And if she values the connection, she'll naturally recalibrate. Effort will rise to meet effort. If it doesn't, that's clarity. And clarity is more powerful than false hope. Remember this: chasing inconsistent energy makes you look uncertain. Matching energy makes you look grounded. There's a reason some men seem effortless. It's because they are not fighting for attention. They are observing who willingly offers it. When you refuse inconsistency, you force the dynamic into balance. Either it strengthens through mutual effort, or it dissolves quickly, saving you months of confusion. You are not here to convince someone to see your worth. You are here to offer it once, confidently, and let them decide if they can meet it. Smart men understand that attention is not something you beg for. It's something you share, conditionally. And when you stop accepting crumbs, you give people one clear choice: step up or step aside. The second thing smart men refuse is emotional chaos. Drama disguised as passion, jealousy disguised as love, constant arguments framed as intensity. Too many people confuse emotional turbulence with connection, but real connection feels stable, not volatile. If every week feels like a roller coaster, that's not chemistry, that's instability. A smart man understands that peace is attractive, not boredom, not silence. Peace, the kind of emotional steadiness that allows both people to feel secure without constant tests, threats, or power plays. When a woman brings unnecessary chaos into the dynamic, picking fights to provoke reassurance, threatening to leave to measure your reaction, creating triangles to spark jealousy, the average man reacts emotionally. He defends, he chases, he over-explains, he tries to prove loyalty, and every reaction feeds the cycle. But a smart man doesn't reward chaos with attention. He addresses concerns calmly, once, clearly. If the pattern continues, he creates distance instead of drama. Because he knows something most don't, emotional volatility only survives when someone keeps participating. Here's the psychological truth. Attraction requires emotional safety, and safety does not grow in unpredictable environments. When interactions feel unstable, the nervous system goes into alert mode. Over time, alert mode turns into exhaustion, and exhaustion kills desire. Women are deeply intuitive to emotional energy. When a man stays composed under pressure, it signals strength. When he refuses to engage in unnecessary emotional storms, it signals maturity. This is not about suppressing feelings. It's about managing them. There's a massive difference between expressing emotions and weaponizing them. A smart man listens. He communicates, but he refuses to perform emotional gymnastics just to maintain approval. He does not compete with imaginary rivals. He does not argue about hypothetical scenarios designed to trigger insecurity. And here's what's fascinating. When you stop feeding chaos, one of two things happens. Either the behavior fades because it no longer gets rewarded, or the person escalates. If escalation happens, that's your answer. You cannot build long-term attraction on constant emotional instability. The strongest men understand that love without respect becomes drama, and drama without boundaries becomes toxicity, and toxicity destroys both people slowly. Calmness is power. When she raises her voice and you lower yours, you control the frame. When she tries to provoke jealousy and you remain unfazed, you demonstrate security. When she tests your patience and you respond with clarity instead of anger, you project leadership. Emotional leadership is rare. That's why it's magnetic. Many men believe being intense proves they care, but intensity without control feels unsafe. Controlled strength feels reliable. A woman may challenge you emotionally at times, not to break you, but to feel your depth. If your reactions are impulsive, defensive, or desperate, she senses fragility. If your reactions are measured and grounded, she senses strength. Smart men refuse chaos not because they don't feel deeply, but because they value stability more than ego battles. You don't have to win arguments to win respect. You win respect by refusing arguments that don't deserve your energy. And when you protect your emotional state, something shifts. Your presence becomes steady. Your decisions become clearer. Your value becomes undeniable. Peace is not passive. Peace is a boundary. And boundaries are attractive because they signal self-control, the rarest trait in a world addicted to reaction. The third thing smart men refuse is self-abandonment. And this is where everything changes. Most men don't lose attraction because they're not enough. They lose it because they slowly stop being themselves. They cancel plans to stay available. They soften opinions to avoid disagreement. They shrink hobbies, friendships, ambitions, all to maintain proximity. At first, it feels generous, it feels romantic, it feels like commitment. But psychologically, something dangerous is happening. When you make someone the center of your world too quickly, you remove the very tension that made you attractive. You become predictable, overexposed, emotionally dependent. Attraction thrives on two complete individuals choosing each other, not one person orbiting the other. A smart man refuses to sacrifice his identity for approval. He keeps his routines, he keeps his goals, he keeps his standards, not to create distance, but to maintain self-respect. Here's the truth that stings. When you abandon yourself to keep someone, you teach them that your entire life adjusts around their presence. And human psychology rarely values what feels guaranteed. Security is attractive, dependency is not. Women are drawn to men who are moving somewhere. Purpose creates gravity. Direction creates intrigue. When your life is full, not crowded but meaningful, your time becomes valuable, and valuable time feels scarce. Scarcity is not about playing hard to get. It's about actually having priorities. If you drop everything the moment she calls, you communicate that nothing else matters. That might feel flattering at first, but over time, it removes the challenge of earning space in your world. Smart men refuse to over-prioritize someone who hasn't yet proven long-term alignment. They don't rush commitment to secure certainty. They allow connection to unfold naturally. They don't demand exclusivity out of fear. They choose it from clarity. There is a difference. When you maintain your independence, something powerful happens. Conversations feel lighter, interactions feel chosen, not forced. You don't cling because you're not empty without her. And that emotional fullness is deeply attractive. Women want to feel desired, but they also want to feel like they're joining a life that already has direction. If you sacrifice your gym routine, your business goals, your creative passions, your friendships, all to sit and wait for texts, you slowly erode the qualities that made you interesting. Desire fades when identity fades. Smart men refuse to dim themselves to keep someone comfortable. They disagree respectfully. They lead conversations confidently. They express preferences without apology. They don't morph into whatever version they think will be most liked. Because the strongest position you can hold is authenticity with boundaries. And here's the final refusal. They refuse to chase someone who clearly does not choose them. Rejection is not humiliation, it's redirection. If effort is not reciprocated, if respect is not mutual, if values don't align, a smart man walks away without bitterness. Not because he doesn't care, but because he cares about himself too much to beg. That's the energy that changes everything. So now I want to ask you something personal. Where in your relationships have you been accepting what you should have refused? Drop your answer in the comments. Be honest. If this opened your eyes, like the video, subscribe for more psychological truths, and share this with someone who needs to hear it before they lose themselves trying to keep someone else.